Lovers of the beautiful game, welcome back to another match reaction. Welcome back to Roza TV. And I hope you do like, comment, share, and subscribe, particularly because I want to touch base on the preview that I did earlier before the game. And I predicted Arsenal would win 2-1. Quite a precautious prediction. I have to put my hands up and say I was wrong. Arsenal were cruising today, and I've been waiting to do match reactions, and I've been waiting for football to come back, but I didn't sort of anticipate such a complete comeback from Arsenal. I thought we were going to be wary. We're probably going to be thinking about playing away from home and therefore be a lot more conservative in our approach. But Arteta was Arteta. He went on and he stuck to his philosophies, he stuck to his beliefs, he stuck to the way in which he wants his team to play football. And today we saw total football, both in terms of offensive play and also in terms of defense. The key thing, I think, of course, is that Arsenal won 3-0 away from home at the G Tech, what one would call the B Tech Stadium in Brentford. But the key thing is that we were in control throughout the game. There wasn't a stage where I was nervous as an Arsenal fan throughout the game. And I have to admit, of course, that throughout the season, there hasn't been stages where I felt as nervous as I used to be, historically as an Arsenal fan. I'm sure some of the Arsenal fans, or any footballer who has some affinity to Arsenal, any football supporter who has an affinity to Arsenal, might share this particular perspective that sometimes, even if you're 2-0 up, historically with Arsenal, in the past 10 or so years, you wouldn't be sure if the game might end, in your favor. And I think this season, Mikel Arteta has been able to instill some level of confidence, not only in the players, but also us, the followers of the football club. And that control exuded throughout the game. We were tight defensively. We moved the three departments were close to each other, and you could see that Thomas Partey is back in terms of giving us that outlet in transitional play and also just starting play from deep. And this is not to disrespect Lokonga. I think he's a good player. He came on and he did a decent job as well. But of course, Partey gives us a particular dimension. And we literally bounced back. And that's what I called for in the preview. And what else can you ask for? If you ask the players to bounce back and they do exactly that, you can't be mad at that. I'm not mad. I'm actually quite happy. Abone say character, abone say ukuzithemba on the ball. If you look at people like Fabio Vieira, who came in and was quiet for most parts of the game, and I think he's getting acquainted with the pace and the power, is a phrase I'd like to use, of the Premier League. But you could see those patches of talent, individual ability that the boy has. Of course, he likes to drift towards the right hand side so that he can be able to cut in. Something that Odegaard doesn't do much of, because Odegaard likes to occupy both left and right, depending on where play is at and where the gaps in the opposition are at. But I think he prefers drifting to the right, and it's something that I think in the second half, the front three sort of adapted to him, drifting to the right, and therefore played to that particular strength. But I think he does something that Odegaard, doesn't do a lot, which is shoot outside of the box. And he only tried it once today, 24 yards out, and bam, we are in business. And I also want to touch on William Saliba. Besides the fact that he scored a goal, he is so composed as a defender. I think we're going to have to say this throughout the season. We're going to sound like a broken record, and I do apologize for that. But William Saliba is quality. He's clean. And I mentioned in the preview, we've got a bit of a problem defensively in terms of not being able to complete our clean sheets. And, I attributed that partly, and maybe, unfairly to Gabriel Magalhaes, because he's been having shaky periods in the season. But I also thought that William Saliba today, reassured us in terms of making sure that he covers his man and he covers his centre-back pair. So I was really happy with him today. And of course, the goal was a centre-back goal and not like the one he scored against Fulham, which was a blinder, by the way. And I want to mention Jesus, who was brilliant in terms of his work rate, also scoring with his head and, giving us this dimension that is a complete number 9, something that Arsenal haven't had in a long time, I think probably since Giroud, in that sense, or maybe not even Giroud, because Giroud didn't give you much on the ball the same, probably since Adebayor or Van Persie. And so this is what I think, Gabriel Jesus is giving us a bit of on the ball, off the ball, in the air, the duels wherever they are on the field, he can give you can trust that he's going to do a good job. And finally, a special mention, and my man of the match, I want to give it to Granit Xhaka. And Hear me out here. I want to give it to Granit Xhaka, not because, I mean, he's been the most consistent player throughout the Arsenal season this season. He's played well in the advanced position that he plays, that Arteta plays him. He's been brilliant. Excuse me. He's been brilliant in terms of his contribution in the final third, his contribution to our attacking play, because he's got something that I think people are missing. He's a physical monster. He goes up and down the pitch without complaining, plays 90 minutes, and he contributes quite completely in the games. And today he did that, and he gave a peach of a pass, a peach of a cross to Jesus. And you could see Jesus in the celebration sort of cleaning his boot, showing that this is part of something that they probably do in training, that, he's always trying to find him. And I think the creative element of Granit Xhaka is coming through strongly and positively, and it's something that I'm really excited to see. And I hope you guys see that as well. I know Granit Xhaka has a lot of haters. At times I also have a love-hate relationship with him, but I've always maintained he's one of the most intelligent footballers that we've had at the club in the past 5 to 6 years, and you can't really drop him. I'm happy about the clean sheet. I'm happy about the performance. Now let's move on to Tottenham. Come on, Arsenal. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Up the gun.